sometimes we do things where we think it's a good idea, and it's not a good idea, but we think it is. Yeah, and then the result is sometimes it's quite catastrophic. Yeah, but what a lot of people do when they live through an experience like this, the tendency is to say, okay, we're not going to do that. And then they let it go. That's temporarily okay, but in the long run, it's not okay. What this experience is trying to do is teach you. When you see it like that, then you don't see it as a mistake. When you see it as a teaching experience, okay, I'm going to learn this, that way you gain wisdom and knowledge. And you come to peace with the situation, and those are blessings. So if you had just said, well, that's over and hell with it and don't want anything to do with that anymore, and you didn't learn anything, then this is going to lead you to saying something like, well, I'm only going to focus on the positive. And that is only a temporary solution. It's not entirely a healthy thing. When you say, I'm just going to focus on the positive, that's not really a healthy thing. It'll work for a short time. You will run into difficulties again, more than necessary. And this is missing the boat. You're denying yourself blessings. When you say something like, well, I'm just going to focus on the positive, then you're missing blessings. And then most likely you're going to make that mistake again. You will make the same mistake over and over and over. And since you're not learning from it, then it is a mistake. It is a failure. It will always be that way until you either die or you learn from it. It's really important to look at the bigger picture, to try to see the bigger picture. That bigger picture is looking at the experience that did not turn out good, but to look at it so that you say, okay, what can I learn from this? That's the challenge. To ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Whether it's a disease, a failed relationship, getting fired from a job, or just losing your job because the company is cutting back. That's happening all the time. Some bank is going to close up a bunch of branches because they're having problems. So next thing you know, 20,000 workers are going to be losing their jobs. Things like that. Or somebody gets diagnosed with cancer. They were living a healthy life and they're nice people, and all of a sudden they get diagnosed with some kind of terminal cancer. And when you see life as blessing and blessing from learning from difficulty, it's easier to deal with. But when you see the world as good versus evil, then it's really hard to deal with that diagnosis, to deal with that kind of difficulty. So what this means is that the dualistic idea of good versus evil makes life more difficult than it really is. It only makes more confusion. It only brings more chaos. It does not bring peace. And it limits your vision, because when you believe in good versus evil, your tendency is to say, I'm only going to focus on the positive. And that, all of that, is limiting your spiritual vision. And you're not developing emotionally. And when you do not develop emotionally, you cannot develop spiritually, no matter how many ceremonies you go to. That's the way it works. The heart and the mind, the body, the soul, They're all connected. So we have to do our best in taking care of those parts. And the part that seems to be the most difficult part is the emotional part, because in this modern day world, it's a dualistic world, and it does not want you to become emotionally developed. This way it can control you, and it can tell you what to see. So you're not really seeing the true reality, you're seeing duality, but not reality. So when you believe in something that's more along the lines like, okay, life is about blessing and blessing through difficulty. When you believe it like that, then you understand that difficulty is not such a bad thing. That it just means times will be hard. They'll be trying. And emotions come with that. And it's important to release those emotions in a constructive way. For those of you that don't know what that means go do something that don't hurt anybody but help somebody. Like go cut wood for somebody who needs it. Haul water for somebody who needs it. Whatever your talent is, use it to help somebody. And just really put everything in it, or take a walk through the nature, take a run, take a swim, go hit a punching bag, lift some weights or whatever you can do to get that energy out, those emotions out. You might have to cry, you might have to shout. It's okay to be scared. All that has to come out, but in a constructive way. And then you bring your mind in. This is what most people don't do. They don't bring their mind in. That's why they never come to peace with it. So just using your heart is not good enough. Just using your emotions is not good enough. Some people will say, well, as long as it's in your heart, then everything is okay. No, that's not true. You've got to use your heart and your mind together. We have them, so let's use them. See what I mean? So when we bring in our mind, this is when we start thinking, okay, now what can I do with this? What can I learn from this? And as you do this process, you will come to peace with it much quicker than if you believe in good versus evil. When you believe in good versus evil, it may take you forever. You may not ever come to peace with it. So you have to drop that. If you want to come to peace with it, that's your choice. It's your choice. So when you believe in blessing and blessing through difficulty, then you realize that positive is not good and negative is not bad. That they're just two different schools of learning. So where we make the mistake is when we label things as good and bad. That's where we make the mistake. So focusing only on the positive is missing the complete picture of reality. If you only focus on the positive, you're missing the blessings that come from difficulty. They're still blessings. And some of those blessings are going to be the greatest blessings that will ever come into your life. And you will miss it if you only focus on the positive. So you don't just focus on the positive, you focus on everything. Because life is not just negative and positive. There's also neutrality. And then there's other things too. Think about how the earth goes around the sun. This is really teaching us something too. When it becomes nighttime, does that happen just like that? Just click and it's suddenly nighttime? No. See, if you believe in good versus evil, this is like saying that daytime becomes nighttime just like click and that's it. No evening, no morning, no dusk, no dawn. Just Here's the sun, then night. Here's the sun, night. And that doesn't happen like that. Nature is not that way. Nature does not subscribe to good versus evil. Concerning focusing only on the positive, I hear so many native people saying this today. They're always saying, focus on the positive and then all your problems will go away. No, no, they won't. They won't. They won't. They're going to get bigger because you're denying part of the picture of reality. And you're doing that because you believe in good versus evil. And this is a dualistic way of thinking. This is not traditional whatsoever. In the ancient way, you look at all of life. You don't label it. You don't label it as good and bad. No, 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 no. You look at it and then you say, okay, sometimes you get an experience that makes you feel good. So enjoy it. That's a good time. That's a blessing. Have fun with it. Yeah? Whatever it is. And then sometimes it's a difficulty. And then in our ancestral way, we say, okay, this is something that we need to work with here. See, it's like a project, and we need to work with it, whatever it is. Could be anything. Like I said, it could be a disease. It could, maybe somebody lost their legs in an accident or something. Maybe they broke their lip muscles and they can't smile anymore. Maybe their belly button shifted to the left or something. So, how tragic, yeah? Rugged guy. Maybe he can't see his belly button anymore, so you gotta think about, maybe he should exercise, yeah? Whatever difficulty it is, it could be tragic, it could be humorous, it could be whatever, you know? Difficulties all follow the same procedure, and that is you learn from it, make the best of it, like I said earlier. So you're looking at everything. And this is what leads to the statement of blessing and blessing through difficulty. Blessing by itself are just, the good things that happen to you for whatever reason. Sometimes it's because of what you did. Sometimes it's just out of the blue. Yeah, just out of the blue. It doesn't matter how it happens. Enjoy it. But difficulty is the same way. Sometimes it's because of something we did, and sometimes it just happens. It doesn't matter how it happened. What matters is what are we going to do with it. And if you say, just focus on the positive, then people just let the difficulties go. They deny it. They ignore it. And they call it a mistake and a failure. And they totally missed the blessings that are going to come through that could have come through that. So focusing only on the positive means you're denying yourself blessings, you're denying yourself wisdom, knowledge, and peace, because those things come when you learn from the difficulty, when you make the most out of it. So those people who do that, the people who learn from difficulty, the people who receive peace, knowledge, and wisdom through difficulty because they made the best out of it and learned as much as they could from it, those people do not say, focus on the positive. They don't say that. Because focusing on the positive is a dualistic thing. And like I was saying earlier, just look at nature. Look at the universe, the way the earth goes around the sun. It's not just daytime and then suddenly nighttime. No, there's in-between times. You see, there's in-between times. This is showing you it's not just positive and negative. There's other things too. But when you look at the world as just positive and negative, then you're dualistic. Then you are going to miss blessings. You're denying yourself peace. You're denying yourself wisdom and knowledge. And you're saying the daytime is good and everything else is bad. That's what you're saying. So focusing on the positive is not going to work in the long run. It's absolutely not going to work. It's just a band-aid, but it's not going to cure the problem. You have to get to the root of it. And the only way to do that is to stop categorizing everything as good versus evil. Because there's more to life than just two aspects. There's always going to be at least three perspectives. Everything that I'm saying is based on Lakota Star knowledge. Everything that I'm saying. So all I ask is that you think about it, nothing more. I'm not asking you to agree with me or believe it or accept it or anything, but I am saying this is based on ancient principles. So when you live this way, where you learn from difficulty and enjoy blessing, when you learn from difficulty, it results in blessing. When you live like that, you see so much of reality. You see so much beauty that's in this world. That beauty comes through difficulty as well. As long as you work it, you learn from it, make the most out of it. And then you see, wow, this is so fantastic world. There's miracles happening all the time. And you have a calm energy around you. Like attracts like is the next concept. That means you're going to attract somebody like you too. Yeah? That's how it works. See, we're not designed to be alone. We have voices to talk, and if we can't talk, we have other ways to communicate. Sign language, writing. We have other ways, body language. There's all kinds of ways that we can communicate to each other. This means we're not designed to be alone. So as long as you're living in this healthy kind of way of enjoying blessing and creating blessing by learning through difficulty, as long as you live this way, you will attract somebody healthy. And then you're going to stop saying, focus on the positive. You'll say more of, hey, this is life. When a difficulty comes, you work it. It's like a project that needs you to complete it. And you do that by learning from it and making the best out of that situation, whatever it is, no matter what that difficulty is. And that's how you're going to bless the people around you. That's a cool thing. That's a really, really cool thing. So that's my message for all of you, especially those of you who believe that you should only focus on the positive. Good luck with that. You're not going to last very long because it's not going to satisfy everything. It will bring you difficulty because you're avoiding difficulty. So the more you avoid difficulty, the more it comes to you. You see how that works? So that's something I would like for you to think about. I'm not trying to force this down your throats like a religion or something, but what I'm saying is this is based on Lakota Star knowledge principles. They're really, really ancient concepts. And they work. And there's still a lot of us here that still believe these things. Unfortunately, most people don't, but some of us do. And we want you to think about this. This is coming from the ancestors. This is their message to you. So it's up to you. It's all up to you. You can change your family tradition into something that's more healthy so that your descendants can look back at you and say, wow, thanks for, giving us a way to live. Because believing in good versus evil, what do you think that brings? If you believe in good versus evil, what do you think that brings? Well, just look at the world today. That's what it brings. We can change that. We can influence that to change by how we live our lives. So it doesn't matter what color your skin is. Your life is a ceremony, and you are a sacred item. Remember what I said earlier, where your physical body, your mind, and your heart and your soul connect. This is a sacred connection. Deep, deep inside you, this is your sacred center. There's a piece of the earth there. A piece of the earth soul is there. And then there's another sacred piece there. I'm not going to tell you what that is, because this is a public forum, but it's a sacred thing. There is several sacred things that are there. To read more about Lakota Star Knowledge spirituality, you can read my book called Wichocha Otechike. You can see the book cover on the right side of this screen. This book contains the information to what I talk about on my Lakota spirituality videos. To purchase this book, please click below where it says Show More. Clicking on that link will open up the description below, and there you will see a link called To Purchase My Books. As you will see, it's an eBay link. Click on that eBay link, and there you will see the information to get this book. Lila Pila Mayelo. Thank you very much.